Okay, chapter, wait, part 1 of volume 1, this Bible story by author S. Maxwell. This, we are at story 8, called God Makes a Man. I really don't want to show this picture right here, the illustrations in this Bible, or the copy of this painting, but I might get censored for it. But this is, you got to think, this book is made in 1953, so some of the illustrations will look different. Like right now, these little ears that are on here, to me, look like Bambi. And then uh, the way he's set up, he looks like something I've seen by Blake. I think that's what his name is. Yeah, William Blake. I've seen an image like this from William Blake. But this guy, um, this one says this one's done by Vernon Nye, and this is what it looks like. Hence the reason I was kind of worried about it being censored. Okay, the caption on it says, "Before God made man, he had everything all ready for his happiness. A beautiful garden was prepared for him to live in, and um, live in. Then, with loving care, God created him in his own image." And that's what this illustration's caption says. Now we're going to go to our story. It is part 1, story 8, God Makes Man. Have you ever planned a wonderful surprise for your mother? For her birthday, perhaps? I'm sure you have. You have bought something for her from the store, or made it all by yourself. A cake, maybe, or some candy, a painting, a piece of needlework, whatever it was. I know you could hardly wait for the day to come when could give it to her. What excitement you felt at the moment as the moment drew near. Something like that, like this thrill, might have been in the heart of God on the 6th day of creation. For that day is going to be a birthday too, and he knew it. All that week he had been getting the present ready. Such a present. The whole world. A beautiful, beautiful world. A world full of treasures, gold, silver, and precious stones. A world full of food, nuts and fruit and grain and pure, sparkling water. A world full of lovingness, trees, ferns, and flowers. A world full of marvelous creatures, marvelous living creatures, birds, fish, animals of every kind and color, creatures to study, to play with, to laugh at. What a wonderful present for somebody. And then, of course, we go to another page. Yes, all the time God was preparing this present, he was thinking of somebody and saying to himself, I hope he enjoys it. I hope it will make him happy. I hope he will notice all things I have done to please him, and that he will love me in return. At last, when everything was ready, and God was done everything he could think of to make the world a paradise, he said, "Let's make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them be domination. Let them have domination over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the earth, fowl of the air, over the cattle, and all over the earth, and over every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female he created them. In his own image, like God, and very, very wonderful. God said, God might have said, "Let us make man like a monkey." But he didn't. But he did not. He might have said, "Let's make man like a lion, only bigger and stronger." But he didn't. He might have said, "Let us make man like an eagle and give him wings to fly over the highest mountains." But he didn't. Instead, he chose to make him like himself. He could have given him no greater honor, showed him no greater love. And the Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground. To me, being an artist, I think he made a sculpture. That's just me, doing an art thing. And let me get back to the story. When God made the animals and birds, he spake and it was done. They were leaping and springing out of the earth at the sound of his voice. But with man, it was different. God formed him with infinite wisdom, infinite patience, infinite tenderness. He molded the noble head, a kind face, a strong body, and he built into him something more wonderful than television. Ooh, we're talking about TV, because most people back then, when this book came out, were starting to watch more TV than read a book. Let's get back. The power to see. Something more wonderful than radio. And the power to hear. Something more wonderful than the radar. A power to think and talk and remember. Best of all, God made it possible for him to love and laugh and to worship. Finally, the task was completed, and with an infinite gentleness, God gave the last finishing touches of his masterpiece. There upon the earth from which he had been made lay man, the first man, silent, still, like a beautiful statue. Oh, that's probably where I got it from. Waiting to have the gift of life. And God breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now, how near God must have been Now, how near God must have been to him. So very, very close. The mouth of God touched the mouth of man. Perhaps, who knows? God kissed them. Perhaps, too. There were tears of love in his eyes as he bent low over this wonderful creature he had made, so like himself, so dear to his heart. Suddenly, as God whispered to him, gently and tenderly, lovingly breathing into him his own wonderful life, Adam woke up woke and looked up to see the face of his master. No, his maker. And then that's where that paragraph ends. And there's a nice, pretty illustration. Give me a second. Let me get it around. And that's the illustration. And you can tell it's the 50s from the illustration. Or me being an art nerd or art historian or whatever. That's what I see when I do it. And that was the end of story 8. Now we'll go to story 9. And this is interesting.